boys and girls, John Britt here. We're going to do a video again. We've tried this about 5 times because I broke my camera. But I want to thank Marion Parks for getting me this replacement. And hopefully I can do this correctly. We're going to show you how to make these little ewers here. Like these are little assembled ewers. Here's one with this is a dark clay body I'm using. And then I'm making like a little baby teapots is what they are. Okay? So here's what we're going to be making to do this. We're going to throw and assemble them. So I'm going to make a body. I'm going to make a bottom. I'm going to make a little connector deal like that. And then I'll make a little top. And I'll make a little spout and a handle like this. Okay? So let's get going and then I'll show you how to assemble it. How I work a little bit over here. Alright, so we'll start with our body. So let's go here. Alright. Then I usually just throw these so that they're hollow bottoms. So you go all the way down to the wheel head, and then I just open up, and I try to make them kind of loose so they're not all real. I don't mind if they're uneven and weird and stuff. So you make them however you want, but this is how I do them. I usually try to keep this collared in a little bit. So I'll do my pull, my main pull here, and then I keep this in a little, and then I'll get my foot set. Sometimes I'll come in with this wooden rib if it gets kind of deep there. And that sort of gets me going at the bottom. And then I can come back with my finger here and use my finger there. So you just kind of form this how you want. And what I usually do is I make about 5 or 10 of them. And then I make a bunch of variations. That way I get, you know, unusual stuff. That would be my base. Put it there. Then I'm going to take, well, I'll start with this one. I think this is already on here. I'll make some parts. I'll make the connector part now and the base. So basically all you do is center that, and then for the base sometimes I use a caliper, but a lot of times I've done it enough that I just kind of figure it's got to be about this big, and then I just come in and cut it like this. Okay, so that's going to be my base now. Then I'm going to make a connector part here. Basically you just make, I want it to have a little opening. I just want to have some width so in case they don't fit perfectly, I can, and this sometimes I use just my needle tool, and then I get my little end here, whoops, and then I will make my spout. Well, I'll tell you what, let me make the top part first, because then the spout will come right off of here. So I just like it to come out a little, so it's not the greatest pouring vessel in the world, but I want it to actually kind of work. So if you were using like oil and vinegar or soy sauce or something, so this way you can pour in there real easy. And then sometimes I will sharpen that up a little. Make this top nicer. Then I cut that off. Put that here. Now I'm going to make my teapot spout. basically it's like a teapot spout, but it's just a little smaller. So you're gonna, this one you gotta be a little more precise about, because otherwise it won't work well. So I'm gonna push this in, and then I usually take this I like to get these a little bit tall, taller than normal, so that I can cut them and hook them on there so it points down. So sometimes then I'll take the other end of my needle, sometimes just go like that, maybe smooth that. Depends on whatever you want to do down here. You can make a little mark for it. You can do all kinds of stuff. Anyway, but I do want my top to be nice and neat here. So I come in, and you might come a little closer to see this. I don't know if you can see. So I'm trying to get this nice and tight, and then I'm trying to make this top part smooth. And then I will make a mark here, and then I cut a little below it. And that's the way I don't mess up the roundness of it. Not that that matters that much, but that's how you would do it. Put this right here. Okay, so now the last thing I gotta make is my handle, which I'm gonna do over here. I'm gonna just do pulling of a handle. So I'll go like this, and if that gets a little fat, I'll pull that off a little. And that's why I like to do a bunch of these, because once you start doing them, you get the hang of it. It's hard to show you how to do it. You kind of just have to make a whole bunch of them, and then that's it. So then that's going to go here. Now we got all our parts. All right, so now we're going to come over. I'm going to assemble them. So I think you can see here what I have going. I have a whole bunch of them here, and I will have my tops and my connectors and all my parts, and I'll just sort of start. The reason I like to have a lot of them is so then I can just sort of start putting them on there and see if, okay, well that'll look okay on that one. And I can switch them around. And then I'll sort of, start putting these on, see what I get. If I like something, maybe I'll put that one on there, and then that one on there. Then I've got all these little, and you sort of can, place them, see which is better where, and that's it. And so I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to show you one here. And so this is the one I think I'm going to work on. I got this one. Okay, so then I've got these parts. So now what I'm going to do is, like at the bottom here, you can probably come a little closer. At the bottom here, I can probably just start cutting this stuff out of here. I'm just angling that a little, because that's going to fit on right there. And then I'm going to score this. And when I score it, all I have to do, I get a little water on there. I basically just touch it on here. And then when I pick it up, I can see my wet little marks that I made. Then I'm going to score that. Sometimes what I'll do is I've mixed up some of my clay body into a wet slip. Sometimes I'll just put that on. That makes it really good connector. Put it down. And then I have this little brush that I have cut, and that is, I just run that inside there. Or I'll come out here and clean that up a little. But a lot of times I do like these things to tip back a little, because I want it, I want it to be shooting this way. All right. So now I'm going to put this on. I'll do the same kind of deal, just touch that on there. And I have a little mark where it's going to be. Okay, and if I want, I'll do this. Okay, put that on there, give it a little jiggle. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing with the top portion. I'll usually clean this up a little, mess around with it, you know, get some of the weight off that I had on there. But basically, whatever hand build, you're just using hand building skills for all this. And you see how it made little marks. Put a little bit of my goo. Put that on. Okay, so now I'm ready to put my spout on here. And basically what I just do is cut this on an angle like that. And I'll peel some of that off. And so now you can see like I'm going to be I'm just pinching some of this so it's not so sharp. Sometimes, you know, you can come in and fatten up that if you want to make it more rounded. And then I'm going to score it, as always. And then I will sort of pick a spot and, you know, decide if that's where I want it to be. If it is, I'll come in and sort of make a mark with this. I don't really need to, because like you can see it, you've made a mark with your wet slip. So you can just use that, or you can make the mark. Then what I'm going to do is, I know I have to cut this out. If you want, you can clean that up a little. I'm not doing it real delicately here because we're just doing a demo, but you can spend as much time as you want. I could put some of my slip on, but I don't have to. I could just come in and place that into the spot. I usually give it a little jiggle. Okay. Now I'll figure out where my handle goes. Sometimes I will also take my knife tool here, the back of it, and hit that a little. That'll expand this out a little so it looks better. Okay, so instead of being like it's, yeah, you want it to kind of grow out of the thing, not just be stuck on there. So that helps it make it look like it's a tree branchy kind of deal. Score. We'll put that right on there. Give it a jiggle. Okay. So then I would probably let this set up a bit. I'd fix my hand, see how I can make my handle good. And then the last thing I'll do is I'm going to adjust this spout a little. So I just cut down. And now I will score that. Sometimes I'll cut them on an angle so it looks weird, and I also will sometimes come in here and make sure that's nice and neat so that I don't get glaze in there and then it, you know, clogs it up. So I put that on like that. So you can see it's not exactly straight on, but it's close. And then that's it. So we did it, and you got to make about, well, at least 15 or 20 of those by tomorrow, and we'll see you then.